Hello, TV, film, and music fans. We have an awesome episode ahead for you with Brandon Kratkoczki highlighting a deserving director, Nicole Koehn giving an alternative view on a popular flick, Chauncey Baker commenting on what's not working in TV, and a whole lot more.
So, take off your snow boots and relax a while because from Ball State University, The Real Deal starts now.
Hello and welcome to The Real Deal, Ball State's one and only entertainment news show. I'm Connor Fack.
And I'm Ramel Tadai. It may be the middle of winter here in Muncie, but things are already heating up this year in the entertainment industry. With the latest news you need to know, here's Allison Edmonds with this week's Hollywood headlines. Allison?
What's up, everyone? I'm Allison Edmonds, and I'm here to tell you all about the latest Hollywood headlines. First up is the newest television show added to Fox's network called Empire. Empire had its debut on Fox January 7th of this year. This musical drama television series is about a man named Lucius Lyon, played by Terrence Howard, who owns the hip-hop music and entertainment company Empire Enterprises and is looking for one of his three sons to become the next CEO of his big company. Between Lucius's battle with ALS, his homosexual son trying to become an artist, and his ex-wife, played by Taraji P. Henson, recently being released due to a crime she committed that got the company started in the first place, there's a lot of family drama to stir up the show. Now, the show was created by the producers Lee Daniels, Danny Strong, and the stars of the show themselves, Howard and Henson. Critics are calling this new drama thrilling show television gold. Now, the night of Empire's debut episode, there were a total of 9.8 million viewers tuned in to see what all the buzz was about. Now, this show is now talked about as the network's biggest drama debut in several years. Now, I have personally seen the show and I absolutely love it. It's a definitely must-see drama if you're into the music and entertainment industry. Now, the show comes on weekly nights on Wednesdays at 9:00 p.m. And if you've already missed the first couple of episodes, don't worry, you can find them online at www.fox.com. Next up on the Hot Topic list is the hot and new sexy Jennifer Lopez movie, The Boy Next Door. The film just hit theaters this Friday, January 23rd, and had box offices this weekend booming. This sexy new thriller is about a school teacher named Claire, played by Lopez herself, who is in the midst of a divorce when her new next-door neighbor Noah, played by Ryan Guzman, catches her attention, leading the two into a raunchy one-night stand. Everything goes downhill from there as Noah creates a strange obsession with Claire, causing her nothing but problems from then on. Now, the ratings and reviews for the new movie are kind of up and down. Now, some say it's a sexy must-see, others say it might not even be worth your box office bucks. But hey, don't let them decide. Check out the movie for yourself, now playing in all theaters. And last but certainly not least, things turned up at the Golden Globes this year. The 72nd Awards were hosted on January 11th by none other than Tina Fey and Amy Poehler as they won the crowd over with their whimsical personalities. There were many great and not-so-shocking wins this year, except for a win from Amazon for Best Television Series. The award was given to none other than the TV show Transparent. Now, not only was this Amazon's first ever Golden Globe Award, but Transparent also became the first online show to ever win a top series prize. Now, that's a huge, huge accomplishment, and it gets even better. Not only did the TV show win an award, but also star from the show Jeffrey Tambor won Best Actor. Amazon Studios is now a high contender in Hollywood, and great things are happening behind the doors of Amazon Studios. I can't wait to see what they'll do next. Well, that's all for me here in Hollywood Headlines. Back to Connor and Mamel.
Thanks, Allison. There certainly was a lot of amazing talent recognized at the Globes.
And one of those talented individuals not featured that night, however, was director Paul Thomas Anderson. And here to tell us about his illustrious career so far is Brandon Kratkoczki with the Director Spotlight. Take it away, Brandon.
Late last year, we saw the release of Inherent Vice, a hazy, rambling comedy based off the Thomas Pynchon novel starring Joaquin Phoenix. In the film, Phoenix plays a detective who finds himself going down an increasingly madcap foxhole of illegal happenings. Few directors have the capability to skillfully transfer the insane literary stylings of Pynchon. However, the project was lucky enough to fall into the hands of Paul Thomas Anderson, a director who, throughout the 3 decades he's been making movies, has proven himself to be one of the greatest living auteurs in film. Anderson's first project, after a couple of short films that found success in the film festival circuit, was Heart 8, a gambling crime drama starring Philip Baker Hall, John C. Reilly, and Gwyneth Paltrow. After a warm critical reception, the film was followed by his breakthrough, Boogie Nights, a stirring look into the adult film industry during its golden age in the 70s and 80s. The film was a massive success, leading to his first Academy Award nomination and a much wider recognition. His next film, Magnolia, is a gigantic epic focusing on the lives of several interlinked people looking for happiness in San Fernando Valley. Now, his next film also happens to be my favorite of all time. Punch Drunk Love stars Adam Sandler, who proves to be a revelation as Barry Egan, a mentally unstable toilet plunger manufacturer who falls in love with Lena, played by Emily Watson. All the while, subplots about pudding, frequent flyer miles, his mentally abusive sisters, and credit card fraud complicate his life. Backed by an amazing John Bryan score, Punch Drunk Love is a dreamy masterpiece. The film, though not a massive success, does maintain a cult following. He followed that film up with There Will Be Blood, an epic starring Daniel Day-Lewis about the oil industry during the 1800s. Now, many view this particular film as one of the best of the century so far. His last film before Inherent Vice, The Master, though a bit polarizing, was mostly well received due to the spectacular performances from Joaquin Phoenix and Philip Seymour Hoffman. Anderson is known for his very specific and non-replicable style. He has said that he tries to be as non-restrictive with his actors as possible, often letting the camera linger to reveal all the truths about the character the actors want the audience to see. He has also been noted for his eye for detail and color, often being able to evoke certain times and places perfectly. He also tends to focus on and write about characters who are deeply broken, but still have to find a way in the world. Indeed, Paul Thomas Anderson is one of the most important filmmakers of the last 30 years, and a treasure to the auteurs and film society. That's it for Director Spotlight. I'm Brandon Kratkoczki.
Thanks for that spotlight, Brandon. A great director with a lot of great films under his belt.
And we've got even more great entertainment for you coming right up after our first break. There's Nicole Koehn dishing dirt on a favorited film, Chauncey Baker lamenting over Hollywood's love for TV love plots, and more. Stick around.
Thanks for staying with us. It seems that everyone can appreciate stories about the more unique among us, finally finding friends who appreciate them for who they are. Well, almost everyone.
Nicole Koehn is back in the studio, and she's got a bone to pick with one such flick. Here she is with Swing at Me. Nicole?
Hi everyone, I'm back to hate on a film that the majority of you seem to love that I absolutely despise. Now, I know a lot of you will probably hate me for this, but I'm finally admitting I really hated Perks of Being a Wallflower. If you haven't seen Perks, it follows the story of Charlie, a shy introvert with a mysterious past, during his freshman year of high school. This entails the typical ups and downs that happen during a coming-of-age high school story. Throughout the film, the audience sees Charlie learn how important friendships really are and how others will accept you and love you despite stigmas one might be associated with. And I will give the movie some props. I thought the casting was great. I mean, who doesn't love Emma Watson? And I thought it was shot beautifully. Sadly, these were the only things I actually enjoyed about the movie. My biggest beef with the film is how the audience over-romanticizes Charlie as this insightful, quiet, caring kid in the corner who, in reality, he needs some serious help because of a scarring, traumatic past. Thankfully, in the movie, he does get the help he needs, but it bugs me that the audience finds his shyness and inability to make friends easily, this caused from everything that's happened to him in the past, as cute or endearing when really it's not. Also, the story feels very much like a cheap knockoff of a John Hughes film, minus anything happy in the storyline. With the parallel characters, which, let's be real, made it feel like a been there, done that type of movie, it's also the same basic plot of a John Hughes film, coming of age during high school. Now, I know that the book took place in the 90s, but we don't have to make every popular book that people talk about on Tumblr into a movie. But I guess the movie industry and most of you don't agree with me. So next time you see me on the street, swing at me. This has been Nicole Koehn. Back to you guys.
We salute your bravery in swimming against the stream on that one, Nicole. But I would say that one of the other aspects Perks had going for it was its soundtrack. If I remember correctly, an old mixtape was a major part of its plot.
Yeah, I think you're right, Connor. But if you at home are looking to create a new mixtape, you may be especially interested in what's up next. We have Michael Mathis with the Music Minute, telling you what songs are on top this week. Michael?
For today's Music Minute, I'm going to give you a little scoop of what's going on in the music scene. The first part of this segment, I wanted to talk about an odd duo that teamed up to make an almost acoustic rap kind of vibe song. If I were to tell you that the famous Beatle himself, Paul McCartney, teamed up with one of America's most egotistic rappers out there to make a new hit song, would you believe me? Probably not. What if I were to say that Rihanna is actually the one to have Kanye West and Paul McCartney on her new single? Yeah, I still probably wouldn't believe it, but guess what, folks? It happened. The song off her forthcoming 8th studio album is a departure from 2012's Unapologetic. A plucky acoustic guitar complements Rihanna's vocals. I think if I had enough, I might get a little drunk. I say what's on my mind, I do a little time. She sings on the opening lines of the track, because all of my kindness is taken for weakness. Rihanna is coming out hot for the new year, and if she's already putting Kanye West and Paul McCartney in a song together, I'm excited to see where the rest of her album goes when it comes out very soon. Music Festival is slowly approaching, and everyone is eagerly waiting to see if their favorite artist or band is coming to a festival close to them. With that said, Bonnaroo has finally released their official lineup for 2015, and is nothing less than amazing. This music festival offers a little variety for all music lovers, from the sounds of the ground-stomping, hand-clapping folk band Mumford & Sons to the electronic dance music of Deadmau5. Bonnaroo has it all. There are also acts from Kendrick Lamar, Florence and the Machine, and then classical piano man himself, Billy Joel. There's enough music for everyone to enjoy, and I would highly recommend it to anyone that has the extra cash and desire to take a drive over to Tennessee to camp out for the legendary music festival. And last but not least, I want to talk about the hit song that none of us can get out of our heads, Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson and the man himself, Bruno Mars. Uptown Funk by Mark Ronson featuring Bruno Mars is quickly proven to be the most popular song of the year so far. The BBC reported that the song has been #1 in the US, Australia, Ireland, New Zealand, and Canada. The music video has been watched over 135 million times on Vivo, and in the UK, the hit broke records by becoming the first song to have 2 million streams in a week, which is 1 million more than any other contenders. Whether you think the song is good or bad, you can't deny that it's a pretty darn catchy song, and some may even say that Ronson has this hit-making music business down to his science. With the help of his monster single, Mark Ronson's album was able to top the UK's official singles and official album sales. In addition, Ronson claimed a 6th non-consecutive week at #1 in the singles chart with Uptown Funk, which achieved a combined chart sales of 120,000 in the last 7 days of its premiere. The track was also streamed more than 2.5 million times over the week. I think it's safe to say that Uptown Funk will be sticking around for a while. And you know what? I don't mind that one bit. I'm Michael Mathis, and this has been your Music Minute.
Thanks, Michael. You know, Ramel, I think I saw on social media that some of Kanye's fans didn't even know who Paul McCartney was.
Wow. Really? That's sad.
Yes, it really is. But we're here to prevent that sort of thing from happening. So stay up to date on all things entertainment by catching the rest of the show.
And after this commercial break, we still have the rant with Chauncey Baker and more. Don't miss it.
Welcome back. One of the things that makes TV shows great is that they allow viewers to really get to know complex characters, placing them in situations that sometimes take several episodes or even years to play out.
This is great when those little subplots are new and intriguing, and less than great if they get stale. Here to explain just what we mean is Chauncey Baker with the rant. Chauncey?
I'm back. Did you miss me? Oh, well, that's a shame. Over the break, I binge-watched a lot of TV shows. When I say a lot, I mean your share, your mother's share, your father's share, and your uncle twice removed that you are no longer able to speak of because of political conversations during Thanksgiving dinner. As much of the time that was, I noticed a disturbing trend among these shows: redundant love stories and gratuitous sexual content. Our first show on the grill is 24. While Jack Bauer is taking out terrorists and saving America from biological and nuclear weapons, he can't maintain a stable love life. In Season 1, he's reunited with his separated wife, who then finds out he had an affair with his colleague Nina Myers during their time apart. Oh, and Nina is currently seeing Jack's frenemy Tony Almeida. The plot thickens. They spend way too much time on this love triangle element that it quickly overstayed its welcome. Not to spoil Season 1 for you, it's over 13 years old. I think you'll live. Nina ends up being a mole for the terrorists and kills Jack's wife. In Season 2, we're introduced to Michelle Dessler, who ends up with being with Tony. As the season goes on, Tony and Michelle are on again, off again, husband and wife. It's irritating. Just getting a lasting divorce already. Next up is Dexter. You know, The show about the serial killer who's a forensic scientist that only kills murderers who have escaped the law? Doesn't sound like much of a soap opera, right? Wrong. Dexter has his relationships with Rita for the first 4 seasons, eventually getting married to her and having a child. They go through ups and downs, including almost finding out that your husband is a serial murderer. You know, everyday stuff. Since the show has been off the air for 3 years, I'll spoil it. Rita dies. After this, Dexter has multiple failed relationships that really add up to nothing to the show. Well, I mean, except for Julia Stiles' character as Lumen, the rape victim who he teaches the ropes of killing and exacts revenge on the perpetrators. The characters within Miami Metro Homicide have a hard time keeping their hands off each other. Batista marries LaGuerta, then divorces her. Deborah, Dexter's adopted sister, who's also a detective, starts a relationship with her partner, the crooked cop Joe Quinn. They even tried to throw in a bizarre infatuation between Deborah and Dexter. Weird. It gets hard to keep track of who's sleeping with who after a while, and frankly, I miss the suspense and mystery elements of the show. While romance is welcome, I don't want my soaps mixed with my bloodshed. I have no problem with sexuality playing a part of the narratives on TV shows. I mean, sometimes they're necessary, but the 5 minutes I watched of Game of Thrones was enough to say that they're doing it just to bring in the views. We can't show you the scenes in question because, well, they're graphic, and it's HBO, so you know how that goes. Even some of my favorite shows had gratuitous nudity in times, like Boardwalk Empire, and my new favorite, Ray Donovan with Liev Schreiber. Basically, there needs to be balance, especially when it comes to the mushy stuff. I'm Chauncey Baker. This has been The Rant.
Balance in all things is good advice, Chauncey. Thanks for the report.
Coming up after the last break, Ramel and I are going to share 2 films that have certainly proven their worth over time. We're talking golden anniversary celebrating films. See you on the flip side.
Welcome back. It's an inevitable fact that as time marches on, old films get, well, older. But as they age, some few lucky ones gain reputations even greater than when they initially came out. And if they survive in the public memory long enough, they may even get to celebrate some impressive anniversaries.
Foremost among such films this year is MGM's The Sound of Music, which turns 50 in 2015 after premiering back in 1965. A host of major events are planned throughout the year to celebrate its momentous birthday, including a showing and Q&A session with Julie Andrews and Christopher Plummer at this year's Turner Classic Movies Festival in March.
And of course, The Sound of Music isn't the only movie celebrating its golden anniversary this year. Since The Sound of Music is so well known, Connor and I thought we'd take a look at a couple of other notable films that also first flickered across screens in '65. This is The Final Word.
Topping my list is the comedy western Cat Ballou. Delightfully funny and somewhat campy by today's standards, the Columbia picture stars a 27-year-old Jane Fonda as Catherine Cat Ballou, an aspiring frontier schoolteacher turned outlaw when a group of wealthy landowners try to bully her father off of his ranch. Singers Stubby Kaye and Nat King Cole appear in offbeat cameo roles as the film's banjo-plucking narrators, telling the sordid tale verse by verse of the Ballad of Cat Ballou, both the running theme song of the movie and, incidentally, the name of the much more serious novel that the movie is based off of. Also starring is actor Lee Marvin, seen in the dual roles of both Tim Strawn, the evil gunslinger hired to attack the Balloos, and as Kid Shalene, the drunken gunslinger hired by Cat to defend her father, and when that fails, help her seek revenge. Marvin's double depiction was so good that it actually won him the 1966 Oscar for Best Actor. Not bad for a goofy Western, considering his competition that year included Sir Richard Burton in The Spy Who Came In From the Cold and Sir Laurence Olivier in Othello. Still, it's a finely funny film, full of romance, action, and gags aplenty. The 60s were still when serious Westerns were a staple of the studio's annual outputs, so making one into a full-on comedy was likely a daring choice. The fact that it proved both profitable and critically successful likely helped pave the way for others in the genre like Blazing Saddles, Three Amigos, and A Million Ways to Die in the West. So, if you're looking for some action, laughs, or a beautiful cowgirl strutting her stuff, I'd ride on down and check out Cat Ballou. What film do you think has stood the test of time, Ramel?
Well, I'd love to tell you, Connor. And known as the second highest grossing film of 1965, second to The Sound of Music, of course, and loosely based on the novel of the same name by Boris Pasternak, is my final word choice, Dr. Zhivago. Set in Russia during World War I, Dr. Zhivago tells the story of Lieutenant General Yevgraf Andreevich Zhivago, played by Alec Guinness, searching for the daughter of his half-brother, Dr. Yuri Andreevich Zhivago, played by Omar Sharif, and Lara Antipova, played by Julie Christie. Yegrev believes that a young woman, Tanya Komarova, played by Rita Tushingham, may be his niece and tells her the story of her father's life. Despite doing exceptionally well at the box office during its release, many critics had mixed reviews about the epic film. Numerous complaints sparked from the overall length of the film and overly romantic depiction between the main characters, Dr. Zhivago and Laura Antipova. Originally released as 197 minutes long, Zhivago took its time, as all epics do, just to delve into the narrative mindset of Lieutenant Zhivago, depicting the war and, of course, the sappy affair of Dr. Zhivago and Lara. However, in a more positive light, a majority of critics praised not only the beauty of the visuals of the film, but the grand themes addressed as well. A dramatic period in world history, the ascendance of life over death, the struggle of the individual against the state, the triumph of the heart over the mind, and the way good intentions can go terribly wrong. Zhivago was nominated for 10 Academy Awards and won 5, including Best Art Direction, Best Cinematography, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Costume Design, and Best Original Score. Noted as one of director David Lean's finest films and one of the best films in the epic genre, Dr. Zhivago is surely a pure classic to enjoy.
And that wraps up our show for this week. Be sure to check out our website, Facebook, and Twitter pages for news and updates on all things entertainment. I'm Connor Fack.
And I'm Ramel Tadai. We'll see you next time.